Do you want to be responsible for her collapse? Think of Dirty Dancing, the country club that they went to.
Yes.
That was how this place felt.
The food.
No, we gotta do it!
He got the flu on our honeymoon.
Of course I did.
Hi everybody!
Hello!
Today we're doing something a bit differently. It's been almost a year since we went on our honeymoon. We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, which is so exciting. But
month and a half away?
Yeah, it's about a month and a half away. But we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon and we did not do very much research at all beforehand, and I kind of wish we would have, so we had more of a plan.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I like going on vacation, not having a plan. Like, I like to plan, like, a couple major things, but then just kind of experience the area, which we did.
That is what we did, and we kind of went, I don't know, we didn't have a plan for the entirety of every day. We would plan maybe one major thing for that day, and then drive around or just kind of see what we found, which we really liked. And
yeah, that ended up being like really my favorite part of the vacation.
Yeah, mine too, for sure. But we have a list of 11 things. We may end up adding more as we go along, I don't know. But we have 11 things that we wish we would have done differently, or we wish that we wouldn't have done at all. So this will be kind of part one of a series of videos that we're going to do in the future, all about our Hawaii vacation / honeymoon. And this is something that I really wish we would have had before we went on the trip.
Yes.
And this is like, this does not just apply to honeymoons. Like, this is for just vacations in general to Hawaii.
Because, you know, she was talking about how we didn't have a plan for every day. That turned out to be a good thing because of some bad things that happened, which we'll talk about
There's
later.
some really bad things that happened.
Yeah.
But we stayed in Waikiki on Oahu, right?
Yes.
And we stayed at the Prince Waikiki Hotel, and I'll have all of that information in the description below. And we stayed for 8 nights. And we got a really good deal. We booked through Costco, but all of that information will be down below, like our flights, like everything.
Yeah,
will
and
be
we'll probably talk about
below.
that in more detail in like the next video about tips about like how to book.
For sure, because that was a major thing.
Get free nights. Like we weren't gonna stay that long, and they're like, "Oh, here's some free nights." We're like, "Okay."
That's a different video, honey.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
all right.
So number one.
Before we get started, like, subscribe, all that other good stuff.
Yes, and follow us on Instagram. All that will be down in the description below, but definitely subscribe if you want to see more.
Yeah, and be sure to comment down below if you like videos like this, or if you have suggestions for other videos for us to do in the future. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Number one.
So number one is a very controversial one.
Which always started with
Pearl Harbor. I'm glad that we went, but I wish we would have done it very differently. And this was towards the end of our stay, and that ended up working out pretty well. I think that we did it toward the end of our stay, but we went kind of around lunchtime, and that ended up really working against us. It was actually just after lunchtime, I think.
Yeah, so you know, just for the record, you might have the misconception that Pearl Harbor is big.
It is not.
It is not at all.
It is so much smaller than I expected, and there was so, like, few things to do, I guess. Like, I could not believe how little there was to do.
Now Pearl Harbor itself is large, but like the places that you get to go is very few and far between. So you'll like take buses between different spots.
Yes, and
but there's not a lot to do.
So like you do have to wait for those buses, and there are not many food options. Drill that in your brain, okay? I cannot stress how important it is to note that there are not many food options. We struggled to find places to find food.
And it would have been better had we went earlier.
Yes.
There would have been more food trucks. That's pretty much all they have is food trucks.
Yeah, there's food trucks that come, and we lucked out, and we got there right when one was closing, and I pretty much told them, I was like, I gotta have something to eat because I have hypoglycemia. I gotta eat. And they were really nice.
Do you want to be responsible for her collapse?
But they were really nice, and they stayed open to give us food, but I really don't know what we would have done had they not stayed open. And also, if you go earlier in the day, you can kind of go when there's not as many people there, and there's more food options earlier in the day, and it's not as hot.
Yeah, because there
so
are lines to a lot of the attractions, like the Battleship and stuff, which you get to go into the Battleship.
Yeah,
like, don't get
that
us wrong.
was really cool.
It's really cool.
It
like,
is really
what's
cool.
There.
I just wish we would have done it differently.
There's not a lot. And the lines are in the sun.
Yes.
You do not have a covering except for like certain sections. So if you're in the hottest part of the day, and you're like me, and we'll get to a point here shortly.
Yeah.
But that might not be the best thing for you to do, especially, you don't have to even get sunburned just if you get hot easily.
Yeah,
it was very hot.
It was way too hot, and there's not a lot of shade options, so definitely keep that in mind. But point number 2, we did a luau. We won't name names or anything.
No, we don't want to bash anybody.
But we hated it. Okay, we did not like it. It was not fun. It was so touristy, and we don't like touristy things. Yeah. I will say that we do not like touristy things, and we really don't like every day, going to the beach and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get into that later. But we did a typical touristy luau, and we hated it.
Think of Dirty Dancing, the country club that they went to.
Yes.
That was how this place felt.
The food was so bad, and we spent an entire evening there, and we really wish we hadn't have done that because we liked being out walking around at night.
It's a big waste of time. Now, show that they finally got to at the end was pretty entertaining.
It was. The fire stuff.
The whole 30 minutes that we got of the 4 hours we were there.
We were there forever, and there was only about a 30-minute show. So that was so bad. But we wish we would have gone to the cultural center.
Yeah, the Polynesian Cultural Center, I think it was called. It's kind of a drive away from Waikiki.
I don't know. But we really wish we would have gone there. I heard so many good things about it. The entire time we were there, people were telling us all about it, but we'd already booked this before we went, so we decided to keep doing that.
You see that?
Yeah, we shouldn't have planned. But I really wish we would have gone there instead.
We should have planned.
Number 3, don't stay at your hotel and on the beach the entire time.
That is not Hawaii.
No. You get nothing if you do that. If you are going to Hawaii to just stay on the beach the whole time, then you are going to miss out on so many things.
Yeah, if all you care about is the beach, just go to a close beach, because it's a beach.
Yes.
Who cares?
We're glad that we didn't do that, and I really wanted to put that in this video and just really emphasize on do not stay at your hotel the whole time.
Now in a future video there is a beach we went to that was really cool.
Yes, but you better watch those.
For different reasons.
Yes, you better watch the future videos to stay up to date with all that stuff, because the next 2 videos are going to be really awesome.
It's going to be more of the good things.
Yes.
And it takes 2 videos to do it. So we're not bashing on Hawaii here. We just don't want people to make the same mistakes.
We loved our vacation.
It was amazing.
But number 4, we wish we would have hiked more. We went on 1 or 2 hikes.
I think we went on more than that.
I can't remember.
That was 3.
All of the hikes we went on will be in future videos, but I wish we would have done that more because there were so many different lookout areas, and you don't have to be really physically fit to go on these hikes.
We are not avid hikers by any means.
We're definitely not. But if you don't watch the future videos, I will say this: make sure you take snacks and water and sunscreen and a sun hat. Those are really important whenever you're going hiking, because there are not places for you to get those things after you go start the hike.
That is, you are bare to the sun.
Yes, but we hiked a lot on the east side of the island.
Yeah.
And I wish we would have hiked more in the center of the island because there's a lot more mountains, and I wish we would have done that instead of just on the east.
Oh my gosh.
But those will be in another video later.
Yes.
Okay, so number 5, and this is also kind of a controversial one, whale watching. We went whale watching, and I wish
had been before.
He warned me.
She was wondering why I was not very enthusiastic about booking this. I was like, well, if we can go, it's fine. If we can't, oh well. She's like, no, we gotta do it.
I wanted to go so bad. I was so excited. Wasn't I so excited? I was so excited about it. And we get on the ship. It's going great.
We saw a turtle.
We did. We saw a sea turtle, which was the highlight of the entire trip.
What's his name on Nemo?
Crush?
Yeah, so we saw
Something
Crush
like
immediately, and he was beautiful.
He was awesome.
Like, glinting and everything. It was crazy.
That was the highlight of the entire whale watching trip.
First 10 minutes.
First 10 minutes, and then it was all downhill from there. The food was horrible. Again, that seems to be a theme. The food was really bad. And
to be fair, she just doesn't like food.
I'm not a foodie.
I like food.
He likes food.
It was also bad. Anyway, continue.
Yes. But we could not get close to the whales. Like, we could see them off in the distance. We went, this was actually the last day that you could have gone whale watching. They were getting ready to, like, the season was about to end. And we just happened to get on there the last day. We did not know that at the time.
Right.
But we saw a lot of whales. You just couldn't get to them.
It's because legally you can't get that close to whales. So you have to be 100 or 300 yards. I forget. It's some type of crazy distance. So if you are going to go whale watch, bring a very high-powered pair of binoculars.
Yes.
But I think even then it would kind of still lost a lot of the appeal.
And if you go into the trip not expecting to get close to whales, then maybe you won't be as disappointed as I was. I was really disappointed.
I was ready.
And I did enjoy getting to see the island from far away.
Because they circled the island.
They circled the island.
Or partially.
I think they went like maybe a third of the way around and back. That was really cool. So if you want to take a trip around the island, just period, then that was really cool.
And maybe you'll happen to see whales.
Yeah, and then maybe you can see some whales.
Then that's good.
But, I wouldn't count on seeing whales.
Yeah, they're actually really hard to find. It's not like, oh, there's a big group of whales over there. Let's go over there, and they'll still be there. No. You'll see a whale, and our boat, they tried.
They did.
And they're like full speed trying to get over there to get as close as they legally could. But by the time they get over there, okay, now they're over here.
Yeah, so you just don't count on seeing whales. Okay.
We saw just as many whales hiking. Honestly.
We did. Whenever we were going on some of our hikes that we'll mention in later videos, we saw whales while we were hiking, and that was way cooler because you could be above them and you could kind of see them in the water.
Yeah.
But anyways, cool. Number 6, we got a convertible because why not? Like, we had
Honeymoon.
And I figured this would be the only time that we went without our future kids. So hi, future kids, if you're watching this. But we got a convertible. And I wish we hadn't.
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, it was okay. I'll let you kind of decide what you think based off what I'm about to tell you.
You can tell pretty much everyone had the same idea we did and rented a convertible because they all look the same.
They do, yes. We saw like a million of the same
pretty
convertibles.
Funny, actually.
But he gets burnt really bad, and we only put the top down once, and it was like instant regret. Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, we did it like twice because there was a cloudy day that kept raining on and off.
Yes, and we kind of did it that day too, and that was okay.
Yeah.
But you get so hot.
Yeah.
You get so hot.
It's very hot. Like, you have to, and really, kudos to car makers because you make convertibles well now to where you don't have yourself blown everywhere. Yeah. But in Hawaii, you want yourself blown everywhere.
And
edit that out. That can be taken out.
What was the kind of convertible that we got? I can't remember.
Was it a Ford GT?
I can't remember. But we had a really hard time parking it because parking garages there are a lot smaller, it seems like, than they're here.
Very tight.
And he would have to let me out and then park and get as close as he could to like a wall or something because we just could not park the thing. It was so massive.
If it's not clear, it's because the way the doors open with convertibles. So with convertibles, you have a very long door, and when you're trying to open it in a thin parking spot, it doesn't work out.
No, it was just that was really aggravating. Like, I feel like that kind of took way longer than it should have.
Hawaii has like a small town feel. And therefore they have small town problems like parking. And so because space is a premium, they're going to thin the parking space.
Yes, but I'm glad that we rented a car, and we'll talk more about that in a later video. But this, your takeaway, do rent a car, don't get a convertible.
Yes.
If you burn and you want to park in a parking garage.
And you value not burning to death from the inside. Yeah. From the inside.
Okay. All right.
Belabored the point.
So, number 7, don't get sunburnt. I know this is like kind of just a blanket rule that everybody thinks about when you go to the beach. But I don't get sunburnt. Like, it's very rare if I get sunburnt. I got sunburnt. and it was on our first day, and I'd been applying sunscreen. I had sunscreen on, okay? Like, we had been applying it all day.
And she used my good stuff.
I was using really good sunscreen. So after that, after the first day, we wore our sun hats everywhere. That is essential. Like,
yes.
Don't get sunburnt, wear your sunscreen, and get a sun hat.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like to wear sun hats because they're like, well, that looks kind of weird. It looks like a fisherman hat or something. Listen,
I don't care.
Wear it.
Wear it because
it also keeps the sun off your head,
well,
too.
my scalp got really burnt too, so then it was like painful for me to even brush my hair.
About.
Yeah, so
scalp.
Wear a sun hat. Okay, number 8. This is probably the most comical. He got the flu on our honeymoon.
Of course I did.
On day 3, he got the flu.
We did all of our hiking the first 2 days, though.
We did, and I think he picked the flu up at the hotel because there was a lot more there was a lot more people that had the flu there. It was going around, and it was really sucky. I would not recommend it. So if you're going to Hawaii, don't underestimate getting sick.
Yeah.
And if you do get sick, make sure you stay hydrated and you find a good clinic. I'll have the clinic that we went to in the description.
They were very good.
They were very, very good. They actually specialized in tourists. So it was nice.
English,
yeah, they spoke really good English and all that kind of stuff. I would highly recommend that clinic because I don't know what we would have done because we went there at like 5 a.m.
Well, no, they didn't open until 6 or 7. But still.
And he actually tested negative for the flu, but he was like, "You have the flu. You're just not far along enough yet to be."
We caught it really early. Like so, I woke up at like 1 a.m. or something, and I can tell I'm getting sick. I get like hypersensitive nerves and all this stuff. And that evening, I was like, "Oh no, honey, I think I might be getting sick." And then at like 1 a.m., I wake up, and I'm just fevered out like crazy. And I start evaluating my symptoms, and I'm like, I think I have the flu.
Yep.
This is crazy. How do I have the flu? So we went to like immediate quarantine procedures.
It was interesting. That was very interesting to deal with in Hawaii.
She did not get it though.
I did not. No, I did not.
We are pros at not getting each other sick.
Yep, we did really well. But I would definitely not recommend getting the flu. I know you can't help that. But if you do get the flu, then I'll have the clinic that we went to listed below. And like our hotel had a convenience store type thing in the bottom of it, and that helped so much because I didn't have to go out by myself and get him food. And our hotel also allowed me to get things off of the buffet and take to him to eat, which was really nice.
Yeah, and that was Prince Waikiki. I just want to mention them again. Like they are really awesome. It's a really good hotel.
But that would have sucked so bad if I would have had to have gone out by myself because it's a city and it is kind of sketchy if you're walking around at night by yourself. So.
In certain areas. In
certain areas, for sure. Okay, number 9.
Wait, I do want to say one more thing about like getting sick in general. The moment you get sick, if you have any type of fever, you need to immediately get treatment because if you're not used to tropical climates, it's very difficult to get your temperature down. So that can actually get out of control a lot faster than you think it will normally. So definitely treat the temperature as soon as possible.
You were good to go by the time we went home, which
was
nice.
I was.
He was feeling a lot better. Okay, so number 9, our flight. We flew... I'll have all of our flight information listed down below, but we flew during the day on the way there and at night on the way home. And going down was great.
Amazing.
There was hardly anybody on our flights. We had the entire row of 5 seats to ourselves, so I was like laying down taking that. It was great. On the way home, we sat on
the same plane.
It was the same plane, but I sat in the middle of him and another stranger.
With kids kicking us
With kids kicking the back of my seat. And I will say the worst part was not having the TVs in the seat in front of you. It was like an 8 or 9 hour flight. And if you've ever flown internationally, you know that it's very different than flying domestic. And that I was expecting more of an international flight because it was so long.
Yeah.
And we flew from Cincinnati to Chicago and then Chicago to Hawaii. I think we definitely flew from Chicago to Hawaii.
Okay, then yes. That's
We might have left from Lexington. I think we did leave from Lexington.
Oh yeah, because we still had the condo. We Ubered to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Lexington, Chicago, Hawaii.
Yes, and then it was the reverse coming home.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a horrible 8 hours on the way home because they don't really feed you that good. There was hardly anything to eat.
They run out instantly.
Yes.
Like when they first come around, like, would you like something to eat? You get something to eat.
Yes. Like,
or they will be out.
That was a really big issue there and back.
Yeah.
And back.
You know, even the there flight, there are very few people, but for, I don't know, maybe
they ran
they
out of food.
proportional.
I don't know. And whenever we were coming back, like the lady going there told us we needed to order sooner on going home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. And they still ran out of what we wanted. And I'm a picky eater, so that really sucked for me. And having no type of entertainment. You're supposed to download an app on your phone and be able to connect to their plane Wi-Fi and watch movies through that. That did not work.
No.
That was really bad. It did not work at all for us. So there was the entirety of the flight where we were just kind of sitting there. I was reading Harry Potter and playing Animal Crossing.
I was playing also Animal Crossing with you when we were both playing Animal Crossing. And I was playing another old game that nobody would know about. But.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend checking into your flight a lot more before you book it. Because if we would have known all of this, we would not have booked the flight that we did.
Yeah, so. it was... You know, the seat spacing, too, is very cramped. So, like, you know, going down, we had 5 rows of seats. Sounds great. But coming back, the leg spacing was like my knees were literally touching the seat in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not okay.
No, and it was so uncomfortable. Okay, number 10. I wish we would have gone to more than one island. We only stayed on Oahu. We were planning on going over to the Big Island for a day and taking a volcano tour.
Yeah, because it was still erupting at the time.
It was.
And we wanted to see it.
We really wanted to see that, but it's really expensive to go between islands, and it takes a good portion of the day to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't want to kind of waste that time.
Like, wake up at 5 a.m., go do your tour, which also costs a lot of money to get like a good tour, and then come back, and you'd be back at like 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So it was just going to be a really long day, and we just didn't think it'd be worth it. But I wish we would have like kind of split up our trips onto different islands, like split up our trip.
Stayed there
and
or
stayed
something,
there.
Like
I think it would have been worth it if we would have stayed there. So I definitely would recommend going to more than one island.
Yeah, the only problem though is like your main hospital, like medical care stuff, if this is something that you need to be close to for whatever reason, is mostly just on Oahu. There's not much else on the other. I mean, they do have, hospitals and things, but the real like life-saving things are on Oahu, which I'm sure they could get you to pretty quickly because the islands are not that far apart.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something to keep in mind. We wanted to really go to Maui.
Mm-hmm. And the Big Island.
And the Big Island. The Big Island especially because the volcano is erupting.
Yeah, we just love stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, the last one, number 11. Stay on the sleep schedule that your body naturally wants to be on when you get there.
Especially if you're going to stay for over a week.
We stayed for 8 nights, like I said. And the first few days, we woke up super early because we live on the East Coast and we were like totally still on that time, and that was awesome. Like, it's not a big deal to get out early. That means you can get out even earlier than everybody else because the sun comes up way early there.
Yeah.
And you can do things
it's like
without it being crowded.
See, it's a 5-hour difference?
I think so.
So it's a 5-hour difference. And, being able to get out 5 hours earlier and not feel like you're getting out 5 hours earlier is great.
Yes.
But then I got the flu.
But then he got the flu. And it was all downhill from there, okay?
Yeah.
So then we started not waking up until like 10 o'clock. Hawaii time, and that's like past midday our time here
about
where we are at
3 p.m.
home. Yeah. So then when we went home, it was really bad.
Literally more than
really
a month
bad.
to try and get back adjusted.
It took us over a month to get adjusted to the time zone again. And I've been to Europe twice, and going there And having that transition and then coming home and having that transition back is nothing compared to that Hawaii time zone transition, okay? That was horrible. I don't know either. But I
think the flight back also hurt us because we couldn't rest at all.
Sleep. We could not sleep at all. And it was like an overnight flight. Mm-hmm. But I wish so bad that we would have just stayed on what our bodies wanted to be on instead of like trying to adjust to their time zone. Just did not work out. And that meant that the first few days we ate lunch way earlier than everybody else there. Mm-hmm. And we ate dinner way earlier. So that means we didn't have to wait in line.
Right. And you know, like our hotel, for instance, you know, they would offer breakfast really early. I think for that purpose.
Yes. And we took full advantage of that. And we would get out of the hotel super early. And we loved that. But then we started getting later and later, and we had to start waiting on our dinner and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I would not do that.
So this video is already way too long. So we may end up splitting it up into two. I don't know, but because we're already at 25 minutes here. Okay. But I want to add a 12.
Okay.
12.
Number 12.
Okay, I just thought of this. Lunchtime is awful in Hawaii.
It is.
Nobody is open.
It is. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. So everybody, this is what the locals told us, and I don't know how true this is, but this is what the locals actually said. People close down their businesses to go surfing. Midday.
You know what? Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. That's great. I wish we could do that here.
Yeah.
But that's insane. And it's so difficult to find food. So if you don't eat, like our hotel was good about having food like all the time.
Yeah.
And more Americanized places like Buffalo Wild Wings, we ate there a lot.
There's some chain restaurants.
There's chain restaurants that did not do that. But local food places, they are open for a small window at lunch and a small window at dinner. And that is it.
And you know, if you go outside of Honolulu, which is not very big, you're not going to have chain restaurants.
No, there are no chain restaurants. So if you go to the North Shore, which we did a lot, pack your lunch. Okay, this will be in future videos. But
yes. Just want to mention that one.
But yes, so that is the now 12 things that we wish we would have known, that we wish we would have done differently, or that we just would not recommend doing at all when you go to Hawaii.
It sounds so simple, but it would have made our trip way better had we known these things.
And we wish we would have known all this before we went. So now that's why we're making this video for you. And don't forget to subscribe and like and follow us on social media and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever we post new videos.
If you don't hit the bell icon, you won't be notified because that's how YouTube works now. And also comment below about what you thought about this video and what you want us to talk about in future videos.
Yes.
We'll be happy to make a video about it.
Okay, so let's film the next one. Bye.
Bye. Hi, future kids.
Hi, future kids.